You guys, we have an extremely special guest with us today. She means so much to me. She's an actriz. She's an entrepreneur. She's giving CEO, actually, of recent times. She's a dog mummy of many doggies. And she's literally my childhood bestie and family member for life. Her name is Peyton List.
Woo! Thank you for
that. Welcome. Can you guys all clap? Clap.
This is so surreal.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
How
I'll
are
slip you guys a check after.
How are you doing? Welcome. How are you feeling this morning? You look adorable. Are you wearing Play Beauty on the eyes right now?
Yes.
Imagine you're like, no, it's Fenty.
Yeah, I'm screaming.
I would too. I'm like, I love trying every single makeup brand.
I could actually tell it was Play just by the camera because I was like, is that a shimmery purple?
Do you guys all have products? Because I need to give you guys all products.
We'll rep.
Stop.
I should have brought it here. I'm so weird about it. I'm so weird about like
plugging yourself.
Yes.
And
Always
putting
plug.
You shouldn't be, because if you have a good brand, it's not embarrassing.
It's like we did like a cast interview with like Vanity Fair, and they showed me the questions, and like a couple of them were Play Beauty related, and I was like I just like
threw
tossed
them
them aside
out.
because I was like, I don't want to talk about the brand right now. And then I felt weird about it, like I should, because it really is like something that I stand behind. But yeah.
It's like an unfunny person asking you to go to their like stand-up show, but like if you're funny, it's funny.
Whoa.
You know?
That metaphor.
Like Yasmine. It's like you're afraid to do it, but then if you have stuff to back it up, it's like it's good. And I famously was lucky enough to be a part of the campaign for
That was
Play Beauty.
so nice of you to come. That was so fun.
Remember, that was such a chaotic day where I had come from set, stolen the wig from...
Didn't you crash a car that day or something? Like in the scene?
In the scene, I crashed a
I
car,
need to
guys.
clarify.
We need to clarify because on this podcast, we talk about my vehicular problems.
There's so
quite
many.
a lot.
There's so many.
Yes.
I
Including,
saw your story the other day.
Oh, when someone
being
wrote...
called a cunt?
When someone said that I parked like a cunt. Yes.
Yeah.
Honored I was. And then mid-recording, we thought I was getting towed, but I wasn't. But yeah, anyway, we're so happy that we have you here. And you mean so much to me and now everyone else.
So grateful to know you. Like, who would have thunk?
We just hung out with you last weekend, and it was so fun. And it just reminded me of like how much history we have. And I just wanted to have you on this pod because I feel like no one has really seen or heard your adult perspective in a format that is just a little bit more casual and less formal than I feel like the interviews that you've done in the past, which may be more polished. And I think we just wanted to hear like the real Peyton and bring that to the table. So with that being said, let's get into it. Okay, wait. So let's start at the very beginning. So you were born in Florida, which we probably we don't write on our bodies. You don't walk around with the badges.
But it makes sense for me.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does not. I have to step in and say, no, ma'am, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It's
It
either
doesn't.
like upstate Washington or Oklahoma. There's no in between. Does that make sense?
Like, I think she's saying you have
Oh my
small town
God.
charm.
Yeah,
Oh my
small
God,
town
shut
charm.
Shut up. I mean, my mom's from Texas, so I feel like that has rubbed off on me.
She does have like that Texas sweetness, but also the bless your heart. Like I could.
Oh,
fuck you
I
up.
love a bless you heart, mama.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you were born in Florida and then you grew up in New York City. How was that like?
It was wild. Like, we moved to Brooklyn when I was 4 from Florida and still had family in Florida. But, I mean, I had to, like, it's a lottery system in New York, and I feel like schools are so competitive. And I had to, like, my mom was like, just go in and, like, get into the school. Like, figure it out. So I feel like I was, like, auditioning from a young age and, like, figuring it out. I just went in and, like, sweet talked the principal and then got into the school.
So
Crazy.
So when you went to Brooklyn, was it a performing arts school or was it a regular school?
It was a regular school.
But because it's so competitive there, you're having to like fight for your
yeah, I mean, this
spot.
was an elementary school, but, like, the programs for public school, like, I'm sure, you know, what
It's
borough did you grow up
insane.
in?
See, so I'm from the Bronx, right? And
Okay.
all of my cousins either went to not the best schools, or like you're saying, they are lottery systems, or you're going to a charter school where you're literally at like 10 years old being told that you want great grades and you want things on your quote unquote educational resume to get into these schools to get a good education, which is crazy. Yeah.
It really is.
And how long were you in the school system in New York?
only until I was a teenager. And then I moved to LA for Jessie.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. So you booked Jessie in New York.
yeah, basically I like was flying back and forth to screen test for it.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That they were like flying you out
Yeah, I was going alone.
and putting you up alone.
Yeah, I flew by myself.
They didn't.
I was like,
they
I
didn't
can't wait.
give you a companion.
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
were
and then
you-
I met Mackie's mom, Laura, and she took me.
Oh my gosh, that's how you met her
I mean, I knew her for a little bit beforehand.
from New York. Mm-hmm. That makes so much sense.
In hindsight, looking back, do you like LA more? Do you like New York more? Like,
I feel like when you spend your formative years, like
Sure.
your teenage years somewhere, I feel like I've become so much more LA. But I
yeah.
do want to go back to Brooklyn for the summer because I love a Brooklyn summer. I feel like it's so fun.
I actually do
Right?
too. I really like New York in the summer,
Right?
but I feel the same about LA. Like moving here when I was like 10, I feel like I had my like favorite memories out here that I definitely like LA better than Northern California. But before you booked Jessie, you booked 2 other things, right? And the first thing was when you were 8 years old. What was that?
Yeah.
Because I remember when that came out, 27 Dresses.
Yeah.
I was like 5
my
years
God,
old.
this formative.
And that movie feels like a 90s film.
Yeah, it does. It has that nostalgic. I haven't watched it in a bit, but I just remember absolutely like defining myself by doing that. I remember just being so excited.
Yeah, what was that like being on set for the first time? And
I mean, I just thought it was like playing. I just had so much fun. Like the director just like took me under her wing and was so sweet and like
it was a female director?
yeah, it was
Oh,
a female
that's
director.
so cool that your first job was like with a female director.
It was really cool. It was so safe and like I've been so fortunate to have like such kind experiences, I think.
on set, which is rare, I feel like, because a lot of people might not be able to say the same, especially with being taken under people's wing.
Right.
Usually they're taken under their
Oh my!
other things and they're uncomfortable.
I'm
and they're not.
screaming at that.
No, I met my best friend though on that movie. Like we played sisters and she just acted in that one movie and then that was it and we just became like sisters ever since.
That's so cool. And then what was the thing in Detroit that you spoke about?
Oh, in Vancouver.
Oh, it was Vancouver. It wasn't
Yeah.
Detroit. Why am I obsessed with Detroit?
I mean, I did go there once, but it's like for a Lifetime movie that I don't talk about.
That's actually what we're talking the whole episode about. That one Lifetime
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. It's just to promote that Lifetime
Perfect.
movie. Wait, so you went to Vancouver, and was
Yeah.
that during middle school?
Yeah, that was during middle school, I guess. Yeah. The end of middle school. So I like finished shit up there on that set on Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Filmed that in Vancouver. So it was like during my summers, like end of middle school time. And yeah, it was like summer camp.
And were you a fan of the like book before you went? Because I remember when we were young, I feel
my
like that
gosh,
was
it
like
was
the
the
biggest
biggest
thing.
thing.
Did you read? Did you guys read them?
Of course.
I don't
Growing up?
read, but
I did. I read not all of them because there ended up being so many. They were like became like Junie B. Jones and stuff. There were so many. But I did read them at the time. And then you were iconically in the film with the cheese
No,
and
the
all.
cheese and all. And can I just say, Rodrick was one of my sexual awakenings. I don't care what anyone says. Rodrick, old brother Rodrick. I was like, what is this feeling in my pants?
Oh my God.
I cannot.
I feel like there's things that TikTok has like taught me about just like things come out later. And that is one of the things that I'm like, oh my God, so many people were into Rodrick that I had no idea
I'm
about.
screaming.
I did not know that was a thing
Me
until
either.
I
I
thought
learned
that
just
was
right
just
now.
a niche thing that Yasmine just said.
No.
But that's crazy.
I'm starting a trend. Was Rodrick your sexual awakening? Yay or nay?
I can't. I never heard that. Speaking of like all of these really dope things that all I watched and personally was a fan of, which I think is so cool. Does it feel weird like watching your childhood like reflected back to you like in these kid things, like whether it's Diary of a Wimpy Kid or 27 Dresses or Jessie? And like how did Jessie feel different from the things that you had done prior?
That's a really good question. It felt different because it was a multi-cam sitcom and there was like live laughers like paid to sit there and laugh in between our jokes. So that was weird because I was just used to like single cam silence. Like it felt more personal, but then having like a live studio audience and everything, like, it was just,
It's like a live play.
I had to be trained to learn how to just like cheat out and always be like playing to the camera and doing that because I was just more natural before it. So I felt like I had to learn how to do that style. And then I had to learn how to break that style. So that was hard.
Which some people can't do. And I'm so happy you brought up the laughers because I think it also creates like a false sense of like security and confidence at that young age.
You think you're funny, but people are being
They're being paid to laugh at you. And I feel like everyone, like the Disney kids with like the egos of that era. And one thing that I will say, like you have remained one of the most humble people that I've known since the beginning. And I remember when, I don't know if obviously everyone knows this, like we met on Jessie on that show. And that was my very first thing ever. And that was like like, yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
I had only
You just were too comfortable.
I was just a little.
That was your set.
Speaking of egos.
I'm screaming at that.
But I remember that was my like Sunny with a Chance like moment where like I remember watching the premiere of Jessie on my family's couch with my entire family in Davis and seeing all of you guys and then moving to LA and auditioning for it and like booking it and then coming and my mom was like, this isn't a real pen. She was like shocked that it wasn't a real apartment in New York. And your mom was like, no, bitch, like you dumb idiot.
Not the dumb idiot.
Your mom
Sounds about right.
Your mother definitely took my mom under her wing along with Sky's mom. But yeah, it was just very interesting. But why do you think you never like, I don't know, became a crazy person or like
I tried.
Like stayed so grounded in those moments because you definitely were like a heartthrob in your era, which is crazy to say, but it's true.
Oh God. I didn't realize at all like anything. I don't know. Like my mom would just be like, bitch, shut up, make your bed. Like, I don't know. She would just be like, what are you talking about? I don't know. I feel like my family just would be like, shut up, none of this is real.
They would bring you down to earth.
Yeah. So I don't know. It felt very much like a little bubble and it was like weird that other people were watching it, I guess.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Do you think it's because social media wasn't as big that back then that you didn't feel like the pressure of everyone looking up to you? Because I remember like everyone was in love with you, including my brother who asked you to prom. Do you remember that?
I do. I wish I could have gone to prom with him.
Yeah, I think you said yes, but I think it didn't work out or something.
Yeah, I remember I had like 2 proms that I was supposed to go to, which would have been like my proms that I would have gone to, and I never went.
What about Disney prom?
Disney prom.
Yeah, wait, can you explain that? I'm not familiar.
Yeah, Disney would invite all of the Disney kids to a Disney prom or to a Disney dance to make some sort of normalcy because that was like our high school.
Yeah, shit.
You know, even on the back lot and everything, it's like you run into people from other shows and that feels like, oh, your high school experience. Like, because you're in your classroom with like the 5 kids that are on your show or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you would come for the week, it was like,
It was like a substitute teacher.
we got a
or
new
something.
kid in the villa.
I'm so sorry. That is
The
hilarious.
Love Island of Disney.
But Josie brought up something very important. I want to bring that up. It's like social media. You are part of the social media whirlwind that we live in now, but also you weren't at a young age. It's specifically about being a woman and this transition of growing into the woman that you are today with the whole world looking at you. How has that affected you today?
It's made me very socially awkward. And, you know, I think social media scared the shit out of me as a kid because I just saw the dangers of it so quickly. You know, there's like so many weirdos that are attracted to children. And I think
100%.
seeing that
Especially when you're on a children's show.
And I remember seeing the comments that I would see and just growing up a little too fast. And it was just scary. Like I had a stalker for a bit and like on the soundstage, like I remember seeing like his picture and by like the security gate and everything. Like it was just a rude awakening for me. Like to be careful. And I just remember like looking over my shoulder when I would like go home all the time, like being paranoid as a kid.
That's
and
so frightening.
yeah, it was weird. And then I thought that was normal just to be so frightened. But like, I feel like every female goes through a form of like this in some way, you know?
I think in some way, but I think certainly you're allowed to acknowledge that it's not fair and you experienced it on a much higher magnitude than much people do in their lifetimes.
Absolutely.
Which I think is really scary.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, how do you feel like you preserve your mental health now? And you like as a woman in this industry so successful, you know, like you're not just an actress anymore. Like you've become a multi-hyphenate with a beauty company and stuff. Like how do you ground yourself? How do you like find peace, and like how do you like honestly get through the bullshit? Like that is an awful thing for a child to deal with. Most adults can't say that they've dealt with the magnitude of eyes that you've dealt with like your whole life.
I feel like connecting with even like a safe, I just feel like even connecting with you guys, or like going out, you know, with friends and connecting with people has been able to ground me, and just like meeting real authentic souls. Like lately I've really been meeting like such good authentic souls, and like really finding my people where it feels so safe. And they're just like, just a reminder, like you could literally be anything in this room or say anything, and there's no judgment, and just being so vulnerable has just been so nice.
Yeah.
Like there are good people, but it's just so hard to find them. And I just feel lucky that I found like a good group.
I'm really happy that you feel that, because I think a lot of people at your level that I've met or interacted with feel a lot more isolated and a little bit more alone. They just don't seem to find their people. I think it's just harder. Why do you think they have a harder time? Or like when you have a platform, it's just you have a harder time?
Yeah, I feel like it's so easy to get blinded by people's intentions, I guess. I don't
Yep.
know.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And
Like you don't know if people are genuine.
yeah.
I feel like also in LA too, right? I feel like there's so many people whose goals or reasonings to be your friend is not for the right reasons. And you find it, what have you noticed that living in LA specifically too?
Yeah. Yeah, I have. But I feel like people must encounter that in every industry and everything. And like, but yeah, my friends lately, they're so honest to like a point where I just start laughing, because I'm like, I cannot believe that just came out of your mouth, but I respect the hell out of it. Like I just love how honest they are.
I love that, and that's what you deserve. That's how my friends are, like constantly being humble.
I'm screaming at that, looking at Alycia.
Yeah,
Why did I get this strong
by
ass
my
no?
sisters, which I think is really important. But
Yeah, how do you guys do it? Like, do you guys call each other out? And like, how do you?
Do we call each other out?
Honey, you've met us.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't even feel appropriate to call each other friends, because there's like that level of comfort and sincerity.
cunt for it.
Josie, please
That is
confirm.
not- Espérate, that's not what I said.
But
No, I agree. I think since the beginning, I think that's what attracted me to you and Yasmine the most.
because we say anything.
Was your guys' just honesty. And like, I think having someone who like can just be upfront with you, because I think the opposite is like, then they're not seeing you as a full person if they're having to tiptoe around you, or they're having to like earn your like respect, or not respect, but like earn your admiration. I feel like that's when it's sort of ingenuine. I remember when I started college, like the first 3 weeks I was there, everyone came up to me and wanted to like, you know, be friends with me, because I had like been on shows and had whatever small platform that I had. And then after the 3 weeks, no one gave a fuck about me. And I was like, you know, I'm an actor, right? Like you can try to use me. Like I have an Instagram account with follower, and everyone was like, we don't give a fuck about you, die bitch.
No.
But I had that experience on a small magnitude. But
That's how I feel. I feel the same. I feel like it's not like everyone's really like, how much can someone really get? Like people are just here to be authentic now, especially like at this age. I don't know.
I think you brought something up really important. Like I've said this to the girls prior, but I feel like, because I'm 24, I hate that. But you know, as I grow, and age is beautiful, but I feel like the older I grow, the more deep my relations are getting. And also I'm making new friends that are outside of my circle. And I feel like the older we get, the less likely we are to venture out to make so many friends, because we're so comfortable, which is fine, which is good. But I feel like, and that's something you were saying earlier about how the friends that you have now make you feel so safe and make you feel so heard and seen in your fullness. And I just feel like that's so incredible right now. And I feel like if people listen to this, to like not only just be comfortable with what you have, but also like go with the intentions of making new friends, making new relationships, fostering these new connections with people.
Yeah.
You get what you put out, which I think is really important. And do you feel like you're still fighting those things that left an impact on you as a kid? Or do you feel like you've like let those parts go? Certainly when making friends, but like when romantic connections or even just friends in general? Is that an issue?
It is a little bit. I mean, I've met some really positive, beautiful people, especially in this industry lately.
Yeah.
Just actors who really just want to help and like create and do their job. And I've been so just, they've helped rewire my toxic thoughts and brain. And I realized I was still hearing thoughts of people saying, don't trust them. Like they're out to get whatever, you know, those sort of things are being told to, you know, you feel like gaslit as a kid if there's like another actor who's competitive, like you don't understand what's going on. But I feel like I've just been working in very positive environments and like changing that. So I feel like it's been really nice.
Yeah, that sounds special. Do you feel like growing up in the industry, you obviously talk about like you've had to rewire your brain. What do you think have been like the largest things you've had to like unlearn, right? Like I think we talk a lot about like decolonizing the mind here, unlearning, like working through your trauma. Like what do you think those biggest obstacles have been for you, like obviously personally on an emotional level, but also with work, right? Because now you're like on this huge show like Cobra Kai, and you were on a huge show on Jessie, but I'm assuming those are two very different women in certain ways, right? Because you were a kid and now you're working as an adult. And also, how does Play Beauty play into that?
Oh, God. What have I had to basically rewire on that? I don't even know where to start on that.
And that's okay. I don't even know the answers to have my own questions sometimes.
I'm sure
I have no idea.
I'm sure it's an overwhelming amount of things. I mean, when you were young, I feel like you were so looked at all the time that, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you had to kind of develop a sense of I don't give a fuckness in order to, like, live your life without feeling like you're walking on eggshells.
Thank you for answering this for me. 100%. Actually, now I can go from here and I can say that, yes, playing that character on Cobra Kai and, like, playing someone that is so strong and changing. I loved that those creators gave me the opportunity to change sort of like the narrative around myself. They were like, oh, we loved taking this Disney princess and like sort of just letting you fight. And it was fun. And when people accepted that character, then I felt liberated to be more myself because I was like, I am more of a bitch. Like I can be. And it was like, it was freeing for me. I was just like, cool, people accept this. This is definitely a part of me. So I feel like I can joke around more with people and people come up. Like we actually just have like amazing, hilarious interactions. Like I find just like people, whenever someone watches something, like it's always a funny experience. And I enjoy talking to them. It's like the weirdest, most random encounters. Yeah.
Well, I feel like that show also has like a really big fan base, much like Jessie, but in a different way.
In a really different way, yeah. Because I came in the second season, so it was like obviously already established from the Karate Kid.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Also, that show was such a like giant hit and an unexpected hit too, because it was a YouTube original.
So unexpected.
And then became Emmy nominated or Emmy winning, right? Did it win an Emmy?
No.
No. Okay. Well, you know what? It became Emmy nominated. It became an Emmy nominated. Just seriously, several Emmy nominations though, which is like really exciting.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it was nominated for like best comedy series is like the biggest honor a show could get.
Yeah. I mean, the showrunners were just like huge fans of the Karate Kid, and so they were roommates like in college, and they just created this show with Billy and Ralph, and are the perfect people to do it because like what better people to do a sort of pick up something where it left off than actual fans. Like
yeah,
they know what the people want to see because they want to see it,
which is so cool. Because, I mean, that show is so cool, and you do kick ass. And I've always known you to be that, like, kick ass type energy. But you're so right. When you're forced to be that, like, bubblegum princess type person,
I was like a people pleaser. So I just thought I want to play this character for them when they meet me, sort of thing. And it's like, that's a little toxic.
Are you an Aquarius?
No, I'm an Aries.
Jesus Christ, you're a fire sign? Mm-hmm. Peyton.
I love Aries.
What's your sign?
I'm a Leo. I can't wait
I
to
have
hang
an
out.
addiction to I have an
wait.
addiction to Aries.
She does.
I have an addiction to Aries. Every man that I've ever had feelings for is an Aries.
This is very true.
And I don't even
My brother's an Aries. Will you marry him?
I'm dying.
Oh my gosh, y'all are so cute. Like, just so cute.
Oh, you brought that up the other day.
I literally brought that up randomly. Like, we were just in the car. But I obviously was just admiring your Instagram. And I was like, the relationship you have with your brother is just so precious. Like, being from New York and being Latina, I'm super family oriented. So I really admired that you are that with him and your family. So do they all live here in LA?
Yeah, they do.
Oh.
What about your family?
No, girl. I don't have no family here. That is blood, but I do have my chosen. I have my chosen family.
And your cousin is here.
Oh, yeah. And I recently...
And you have cousins in San Diego.
Well, yeah. I have cousins that just recently moved here.
I love that you're from the Bronx.
Thank you. I love that you're from Brooklyn. In my eyes, you're from Brooklyn.
BK, BX.
What do you rep? Guys, so where do you say you're from when people ask you?
Even when I lived in Brooklyn, they were like, "You're not from New York," and I was
I
like,
get that.
"Yes,
Yeah.
I am."
You're like, "Yes, oh, you're so precious. I love you." Yes, I am. Like when people ask you where you're from, do you say Cali or do you say New York?
I say Cali now.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, technically, like I do like feel so good when I'm in New York. Like I love taking the subway.
Yeah.
I worked in Jersey over the summer, so I took the path in, and
For
I was
real.
like, yes, like running around the city. It was so nice.
You have New York energy. And like a really, but like
take that.
Broadway girly energy. Like it just, I feel like I see like Sarah Jessica Parker vibes coming out of you.
I will take that because I have been told I'm not a Carrie, but I want to be a Carrie.
You can
I was told I
I
was a Miranda.
Interesting.
Really? I don't see
We're
that.
not friends anymore. Nothing against
Yeah,
Miranda.
no. They need to be blocked. I'm kidding.
But I love that you brought up Spencer because I think that I think a lot of people know at this point that you have a twin. But was it easier to go through life with a twin, or was it
Yes.
harder
Oh.
because you had someone like a mirror up to you?
No, he was not a mirror. Thank God.
Okay.
He
Are
was
you
the
guys very different?
separation. Yes, we're so different.
Tell us
He
more.
is insane. Like such a like wild child. Like we shared bunk beds, and he would torture me growing up.
Okay.
Like we would fight. He would beat me up. Like
Jesus.
yeah.
Was
it
there that brotherly, sisterly rivalry?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, we were super competitive, but then like we got put on a basketball team together, so that kind of
Oh, wow,
like
a
formed a
co-ed
different
basketball
bond.
team.
Yeah,
Very
Progressive.
progressive.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It really was because
That is
I was
amazing.
terrible. I was like, maybe there's a reason I shouldn't be on this damn team. I wasn't scoring any points.
You know what? You were a team player. We respect that.
Exactly.
We respect that.
I brought a lot of energy.
Was it hard to like bring boys around because your brother was there?
Yes, because I always fell in love with his best friends.
Wait,
he
that's
was
a
like,
song. That's
he
a
was
song.
I didn't think
Bitch,
that's where this
stop.
was going.
He was like, I'm gonna have to drop another friend. Like,
What do
I
you
think he
mean?
would get upset.
So your
I
kink
think-
was like his best friends? That was like your thing?
That was my thing. It felt
Well, they were just
safe.
around,
They
and
were
if like if he
around.
liked them, I'll probably like them too, but in a different way.
He would
Exactly.
so he would bring them to like set or something.
Yeah, he'd bring them to set, or they'd be like, maybe their sibling was like working on another show or something, and I would be like, "This is the love of my life."
That's a journey.
I
Does
love
he
that.
act as well?
He does, yeah.
That's iconic. I didn't know.
Did you
Yeah.
have your first relationship when you were really young or not till you're older? Like your first relationship?
I guess when I was older. Like I always had crushes and everything. But what about you?
I've never been in a relationship.
That's insane.
That is with a human.
I'm dying with a human.
Oh,
That's insane.
I have one with my bank
with
account.
an AI or
With my
okay.
career and my bank account.
that is so funny.
Wait, I love that.
Funny enough, I didn't like actually start dating until I got to college. Once again, like we were talking prior, I was just boring and like stayed pretty confined. But I started dating when I was in college. I haven't dated much, but I am dating now. But honestly, I feel new to dating. I feel very like premature. And see, I did not have the success that you had. You were a famous star as a kid, but even like acting and feeling like that adult aspect of life made me feel like I couldn't date, like with auditioning and with school and all of those things. Did you feel that way as well? Like I felt like it just wasn't a priority and it wasn't my time. Even now, frankly, sometimes I'm like, is this lifestyle conducive to prioritize romance at some point in my life? Do you feel that way?
I agree. I feel weird.
I do for
doing
sure. It feels like it feels unfair to me to bring someone into it because
Right?
I'm like, welcome to the circus. Like, I don't know if someone normal would understand this. Like, I don't know. I feel if I date another actor, I'm like, okay, you're out for yourself and your job as well, and you're
Yeah.
you're prioritizing yourself because I don't want to date anyone who's prioritizing me because I just am scared.
We
of that.
can't do the same.
exactly. Because I'm like, I'm going to drop anything at any moment.
Yeah, we can be in Australia like in
feel
3
that?
weeks.
Every time I did tapes with Alycia, because I hate doing tapes, I can never audition on. I'm like really bad on tape. But every time I would do tapes with Alycia, I would really get
You
into it.
act for your life.
And I would pray.
She's in a Yale seminar, and I can
that they
tell
would
too.
cast me. One time I had to do a tape with Alycia completely naked because of how hot she keeps her house.
Okay, Peyton, I'm glad that you're Peyton, I'm glad that you're here for this because
It was 80
how did you
degrees.
think that I could focus when this girl had not one slither of piece of clothing on? She was being so dramatic.
It was
not
83
that cold.
degrees in the house, and we were in the attic of her home. We were in the
How?
I don't know why she did that to me.
You know what? You're not here to watch us fight because that's what this will become. Because she sequestered me and I had to do the tape with her fully naked because I had to
did
turn
not
it in.
sequester you.
I need to join this friend group. I need to just.
Oh, you're in it.
I need to sit naked just
You were-
behind
you were in-
Josie.
You were inducted.
Yeah, you're in here. I'm sorry, babe, but like you're stuck with me.
Oh my God.
We do it like a rush event. So like we have a sorority little cult ceremony. You have to wear all black, no makeup.
boil.
The boil.
Yeah. Funny enough, and this is so embarrassing, like I put my partner on tape yesterday and I refused to let him put me on tape. And
So that's why you didn't answer the phone.
What?
I'm just kidding. I just wanted to start another fight again in front of Peyton.
Oh yeah, I didn't answer the phone.
this is so fun
she
being
was
the first
she was
person
she was locked in my gym. I love that these are all very real things. But anyways, it leads me to this question. It's hard enough sometimes just like with auditions and with meetings or whatever it may be, you being phenomenal, being here for this podcast, you know, it gets really busy. How do you find the harmony of like with acting now and now this beauty business that is doing well? Like how have you found like the harmony in that and being able to do multiple things?
I found that there's more pockets of downtime than I mean, and usually, yeah, I feel like it's like easy to balance like a wave.
Yeah.
I just feel like we go for like 3 months and then we have 3 months off. And so the beauty brand I can really focus on it in my in-between time. I mean, sometimes it gets a little overwhelming to mix the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's finding that balance. I don't even know. It's like, it's also planning ahead of time. I've really started to become a planner and a scheduler and really just start to think about a path and more of a like destination because I used to just be so spontaneous. I never manifested anything. Like, I don't know how people, I've been like, what if I was actually aware of what I was doing and planned it out instead of just being so just throwing everything every day, just throwing shit against a wall and seeing what sticks, you know?
I feel like there's the duality of both because I feel like
faith
it's
without work is dead.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like there's so many times where I'll be spontaneous and then nothing goes to plan because I did not plan accordingly. And then when I do something like exactly what you're doing, things go exactly how it's meant to be with joy doing it too, you know?
Yeah, I used to not associate planning with joy. I thought that the joy came from spontaneity.
Yeah.
And from being just so unpredictable and so crazy. But then I was like, damn,
Honestly,
this
that
is
was me
getting
too.
messy.
You know what's so crazy? I was in bed last night by 10 p.m. and I was like, oh shit, something bad's gonna happen to me because today I literally just spent the day alone. I worked on auditions. I worked out. I had a healthy dinner and I'm in bed by 10. I'm like, I'm so calm because I feel like we were so used to being accustomed to the stress as child actors or just as anyone in general who has worked really hard. And now I've talked about that with you. But I think it's like getting more like okay with like the peace and quiet and also like the organization that like will help you live a happier life by just by planning like you said and just organizing things and not just like living out there, even though I love being spontaneous. But I think the calm is nice, but the calm is scary sometimes.
It is scary.
For sure.
It's very Aries of you, can I say? Can I say you planning ahead? I can imagine you. I feel like, do you have a whiteboard in your home?
I thought she was a white boy.
Yeah, I can.
Well, you're like, yes, you do. My brother, actually. No, I did.
I'm like, I do have a whiteboard.
Yep. Yep. There it is. That's all we needed.
It's funny. My best friend is a Leo, and I just love and my other one is a Sagittarius, and I just like love the fire energy.
Wait, which one's a Leo?
Vic.
Do you know I'm a Leo?
Oh yeah.
They're both Leos.
Yeah, we're one day apart.
I love the strength. What are you?
I'm a
Pisces.
Pisces.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I remember when I feel like we've always clicked though. And one thing, like I said before, like I've just have always felt supported by you.
Okay.
And I remember getting into Play Beauty because I want to ask more about that. But like when we were on the set of that, we both got emotional. Do you remember? At the wrap?
Yes,
And we
I
all
thought
started
about
crying.
that before coming on to this, and I was like, oh God, I hope it wasn't too much, because I just got
No.
so emotional.
Oh
I
my
thought you
God.
were there.
It wasn't too much at all. To me, it made me feel so loved, because I think even though when we were young and like I was obviously a guest on that show, I think I like was filled with like crippling fear and anxiety that like I was just like I was also reminded constantly by many people that was like not my place, and that obviously I was a guest in that space, and you always made me feel so loved. And I think because of the dynamics of that show, we couldn't really be close friends until we were older.
Yeah.
I think we needed to like find each other again.
I know.
And like
I'm so happy
when we had that moment, like it made me emotional too, because of how much love I have for you and just how safe I've felt with you my whole life. Like I've never doubted like my safety with you or my comfortability with you. So I wanted to say that to you.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you've always felt comfortable with me. That's like my number one thing with people, is I just want them to feel not judged, and like because I just want to be like a safe place for everyone to come to, and I'm so happy that it felt that way, because I always am scared that it wasn't that way. Maybe because I felt that way for so long with other people that I've like gaslit myself. So I'm really happy that you felt that way, because I've always been your biggest fan.
Oh, baby.
Like your biggest fan. I just think the world of you.
Thank you.
It's insane.
I think
Your family is the most authentic family I've met in LA.
Really? Because we're crazy.
Her family, the
In
Todas,
the best way.
they will take you in when you, whether you're in the highest of highs or lowest of lows. They are blood.
I call them mom and dad. They're a phenomenal family. And also, can I just shout out to you, your mother. Your mother's an actual angel on this earth, saving animals. But yeah, I'll never forget you first mentioning Peyton. Like, randomly, I think, when we were filming Saved. This was way before I'd ever met you. But when she had spoken about, like, her times at Disney, you were always, like, a name that was associated with so much joy and support, you know? And I commend you, kids. LA isn't easy as an adult. I just got here, 4 years ago? And you know, so I know nothing. I feel like a LA baby. But even in the time that I've been here, I'm like, it can get hard in regards to people's expectations, in regards to judgment, in the ways how I feel perceived and I feel inadequate. So I commend you guys for really like weathering the storm and overcoming not only the industry, but just growing up in a place that isn't always that easy, you know? And it seems like you guys have found your people, in addition to just being beautiful, like humble souls. And you guys are just so lovely people. And I'm glad that you guys have had each other like during this process.
Yeah, well, I love that you guys have each other too.
Thank
Like
you.
seeing this group and also listening to you guys. I'm like,
Oh, you're so
It's-
sweet.
I know when you
It's-
said you listened to us, I was like, it's target audience reached.
oh,
No, literally.
I was so honored. I was a bit terrified. I think you saw my face when you're like, oh, I know who you are. I've heard your voice. I said, oh God, but thank you so
no,
much.
I love it.
When
You
Josie
guys
was
are like, you guys check me, I feel like. I'll be in my house.
Stop.
I'm like, yeah, I do that.
you're like, wait a damn minute.
You've maintained this like sense of moral decorum that a lot of people don't. And one thing that really stood out to me, I don't even remember seeing this initially, but I always knew you to be someone who spoke up and stood your ground, was like when you were 18 years old, you released a piece like with Elle, where you talked about politics, and this is when Trump was running for president, and why you weren't voting for him. I believe in equality. I believe that racism is a problem and we need to do something about it. I believe in a woman's right to choose, because no one ever seems to tell guys what to do with their bodies, which is true. I believe I should make the same amount of money for doing the same job as a man. True. Even if this election won't affect you, it will. Which direction do you want the country to go in? How do you want America to interact with the global community? Or the questions you posed in that piece. I thought that was so special to be 18 years old and
Brave.
Were you still on Disney at the time? I
think so.
You may have been.
Yeah.
You were on Bunked.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I was.
to do that is like kind of brave, because of how much you're told, don't speak up, don't talk about these things, don't ruffle feathers.
Right.
Like, how did you get the courage to do that, and what ultimately motivated you to release that?
Well, thanks for recognizing that. That's so nice. I was really nervous to come out, because somehow saying even those statements, which I think are just talking about equality, somehow that really pisses people off, which is insane. A woman should get paid the same. I posted that a few times and people have wanted to cut my throat. Like, I'm like, okay, if we are getting paid the same, then what's the issue?
Like fucking cotton candy. It's literally like saying
I'm saying
like
unicorns are real, apparently, because this is never going to happen.
The bare minimum of things, equality, you would think.
Or like a woman's right to choose or whatever it is. Yeah, like just I was so terrified saying these things.
Mm-hmm. What was your mindset back then?
I remember I asked someone I think it was one of the editors of Teen Vogue, because they invited me to one of their lunches or something. And I told her how scared I was to talk about politics at all. And I felt like it wasn't my place. And she was like, why wouldn't it be your place? And I guess that's kind of what, over the pandemic, it was like, it's everyone's place now to talk about it. And if you don't, then you're complicit. It was like, but I still feel like I look to other people first and like do my research, because I don't want to speak on behalf of anyone in like any wrong way. But I just felt like these were very basic concepts. And like when Trump was running, I just felt like we all had to say something. And also because so much of America like has watched Disney, and it's just like I felt like I had like a voice with people who I actually could speak to, and maybe have a conversation. But I don't know, sometimes it feels like if people are dead set on something, like you're not going to change them. But
well, I have to say, I commend you, like fully. I think it's hard enough to like stop a conversation at a dinner table with people that you know, let alone what you did was take a stand as a kid and speak out and say, this is what's right. This is what equality we should be advocating for. Like, I think that that's really special. And I just want to tell you, like, even if you didn't see it like firsthand, like you sowed seeds. Like, God only knows how many kids saw their favorite Disney star talk about equality and talk about feminism, which is what you were advocating for at the time, and intersectionality. And I think your decision to do the hard things when your moral compass is telling you to, even when it's hard, really is a testament to someone's character. So I just want to commend you and say how proud I am of you. And you're still doing the work, even like in the small conversation you were having with me prior to the podcast starting, just being present and just listening. And, you know, you learned some random things about my childhood and I learned some things about you. I think that's what it's about. So much change happens like this. And mind you, you're doing it on a scale that I personally haven't even ever experienced. So I'm proud of you. I just want to say that.
Yeah, I'm proud of you too.
Really proud of you.
I am.
Thank you. That's so nice. That's so nice.
We've talked about it before on this show of, we believe if you do have a platform and you do have the ability and you do have the passion to say something and speak out about something that you care about, it is your due diligence to say something. It is so powerful for someone with the gravity that you hold to speak. And you do that so eloquently, and you do it with grace and kindness and love at the same time, not just bashing people, because that you're right. You're not going to get anywhere with that. The dialogue's cut if you're like, well, fuck you, forget what you said, I don't want to listen to you. There needs to be love in it. And I feel like anytime you do anything, even when you're putting on play and like on your TikToks, it's so graceful and it's so coming with kindness. And it's just, that's something that you should be applauded for.
Well, thank you. That's so nice. How do you guys find it? Like, how much do you go into politics, do you think?
Oh.
I'm looked at aggressively. Well, it's personally for me, it's like my background. You know, like I grew up with a dad who immigrated here from, you know, an extremely poor country. So, you know, I grew up very humbly and my first language is Spanish and stuff. So from a really young age, I understood social and financial inequities, you know, being from one of the poorest boroughs in the country. And then my mother, I was raised with her telling me stories of conducting sit-ins, you know, against security in her college to not carry weapons. So all of that goes to say, from a super young age, I cared about politics. But I also say, I'm not special. I cared because it affected me. And I was just like, how can I change things? Like being a woman, being Black, being Latina, being of a lower socioeconomic status, I always cared about politics because I had to, you know? coming from certain disenfranchised groups. And I think that compelled me to learn more about minority groups I wasn't a part of, other disenfranchised groups. And I cared about equity. I went to college. I did not finish because I ended up doing a lovely movie with Josie called Moxie, and then my life changed. But yeah, I was studying political science. Wow. And up until now, like politics, this podcast that we have the honor of doing together, like it's one of the pillars of my life. It's really important to me. And that's why I was commending you, because I speak now on my platform about politics a majority of the time, and I've dealt with DMs that are unfavorable. Mm-hmm. I deal with a backlash. I notice that, you know, I'll lose followers when I post things about things that people find really controversial, like when my statements about abolition or police brutality, which I think, once again, how you were saying, like, these don't seem like debatable concepts, like feminism and equality and things like that. But it is to some people, right? Or just like speaking out against Trump or whatever it may be. And I've dealt with backlash. You have a much larger platform than I could even fathom. So for you to do what you've done is, I think, really, really special. And you just continue like being an ally and being the phenomenal, like, special person you are. So yeah, that's my background with it. But
yeah, I think we all, I mean, my mom is loud as fuck. She has never been quiet before. So she was always in politics. She worked in politics, and just my parents have always been really liberal and progressive. So it's always been a part of me. I think, like, I didn't even feel comfortable speaking up about like LGBTQ issues and stuff when I first met Alycia. Like, I just remember just not feeling confident in myself and feeling proud of myself. And I didn't really experience like pride until like a few years ago for the first time, like just genuinely feeling proud of my own skin. But I think when I was able to do that, and I was able to post more, because I think you need to be kind of comfortable with who you are before you like put yourself out there like that. And I think no matter who you are and speak about issues, because it's like a vulnerable thing when you're posting about stuff. It's one thing to post about things that you care about that affect other people, but when it directly affects yourself, it's like, you know, kind of vulnerable.
Yeah. I feel like not the stakes are higher, but it hits home a little bit more when it affects you.
Because you have emotional stake. You're the one dealing with the oppression and then being asked to talk about it. It's a different way. And
100%.
Yeah.
It's always interesting hearing so many people's backgrounds. Like, my dad was the head of the Republican club in college, and he was like this Arab immigrant. And my mom was like this Democrat who worked for like the random House of Commerce in DC. And I think with them, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I mean, my dad's a proud Democrat now, but he and my mom always preached, you should always have your own opinion no matter what, as long as it's not violating human rights. And so just from there, just having two Arab people just tell you, we don't care what your opinion is, as long as it aligns with your morals and values, you should always be proud and loud about it.
We're told not to. All of us in this room, like, you know, you're my beautiful Yasmine Manchester, but we're all told like not to talk about politics. And it's like what that awesome woman at that Teen Vogue told you. It's like, why not? Like, we all should be caring and stuff. And it makes me want to lead to asking you another question. Is there anything as of recent, right? Like, we lived through a pandemic. We lived through the protests. Like, we've lived through a lot of things just within the recent years. Is there anything new that you are learning about yourself or the world that you think is like a recent revelation or new causes that you care about? Like, play itself, I want to commend the sustainability stance that you've taken. Like, is there anything?
Thanks.
Yeah,
I mean, we're a plastic neutral brand, so we clean up an equal amount to what we put out. And a lot of our palettes are paper, and they're made out of 100% recycled material. I just couldn't make something myself that was damaging the planet. I just felt too guilty creating damage as well along with it. So yeah, that is something that I'm trying to constantly learn about and help with. Yeah, I mean, lately I've just been trying to be kind, even just on like a personal level, like go out of my way for other people, because I feel like it's when someone even just takes a moment to do that, it's like it changes everything. Like, it's just contagious.
Yeah, I agree too. I think like the smallest things that you don't even think of, like the connection, it helps people, which I love. I want to pivot to School Spirits, though, because I'm so excited about that. How was filming that? Because that shit was dark.
Yeah.
Why did I say it like that?
You said,
What?
you're right, but the tone in which you said it, the inflection, that shit is dark.
It was interesting because I really related to a character that was dead somehow. Like from the first scene, she's dead. And I really woke up in the process of doing that show because I realized there was a part of me that was not really living. And the therapist even told me that. She was like, you were on autopilot.
Wait, there's a part of Peyton that wasn't living?
Yeah.
And the therapist, your therapist.
My therapist
I'm like,
told me.
who's
Now
the-
I'm taking it out of the show and I'm taking it into me.
No,
but
please.
Wait, no, please.
Yeah, there was a part of me that was on
wait.
autopilot and
Tell
I needed
us
to wake
about
up.
that. Okay, how was that?
It was insane.
What do you think put you on autopilot?
I think just I thought it'd be easier to deal with people and situations if I just didn't let anyone or anything in. And just kind of like breeze through and not even know what happened. Like I would go somewhere and just be like, all right, like move on. If anyone asked me to do anything, I'd be like, sure. Have no actual opinion on the person or the thing happening. And now I'm just choosing things that people I really care about or who I think are really good. But anyways, back to the show. Yeah, it was.
I love that though.
She's dead from the first scene and she's so passionately trying to figure out what happened to her. And I was like, this girl really cares about her life. I wonder what that must be like.
I wonder what it's like to care and
Yeah,
want, like living.
I wonder what it's like
Yeah.
to care and love it and want to get back to it. And so like having to like fight to come back to find her life and with how many people cared about her and how closed off she was. Like she doesn't let this character is the strongest person I've ever played and like she doesn't let a single soul in. And I really learned from the creators because they went through so much trauma creating the show. Like they loved like they had an alcoholic parent and to get through it they would watch Veronica Mars or like fun shows. And so we wanted to create something that was like a fun like escape from everything.
Right.
But my character also has an alcoholic mother and that's like her only parent. So she's had to be an adult a lot of her life. And it was really cool to just play this really broken but strong person. And I learned so much.
Yeah.
I learned so much through her and from them. It was like therapy.
I commend you for that. That is such a special thing to get to work on something and have it affect you in such an impactful way and have it change you for the better. I mean, usually it's the opposite. Like being on certain projects and stuff, I feel like it like dements you. Was there like, and you can also tell me to shut up if this is too uncomfortable, like was there a point where like you realized you had to get off autopilot? Like was there like a thought in your head or a certain turning point?
I was telling myself all the time, but I wouldn't get off of it. You know, like I was like, man, I should really wake up but I had to just go out and work so hard, you know, like I just needed to, I will still do it. Like I took a freezing cold shower yesterday and I'm like, wake up, wake up, wake up. Like I just need to tell myself like, wake up to the world. Like, yes, there's hard things going on, but you can't just like tune it out.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that is harder to do than it is to say. But I think that even just watching you, I think people who have known you and certainly people who watch you could probably see that on you. Have you heard that a lot? That like you've changed in a way that's like just so beautiful and freeing.
Yeah.
How has that been?
It's been pretty wild. Yeah, you don't realize that there's something off about you either, or that there's something wrong. And then when people are like, wow, I like whatever energy you have right now. It's changed. And I'm like, yeah, I feel more myself again. Like,
You
it's
seem
nice.
just settled and confident in your own skin.
Oh, well, thanks.
We have some fun questions to get into the end of this
out.
and to wrap this out.
Yeah.
And some fun ones.
Okay.
You mentioned, I think in an interview that we read, that you wanted to work with Margot Robbie. If you
Yes.
could like put her in any film with you, what would it be like? What would it be? Like a buddy cop comedy or like an older sister, younger sister thing, a lesbian rom-com?
Now the buddy cop movie just will knock it out of my head.
No,
I mean, that
that
could
one
be cool.
sticks.
No, I have
It could be mall cops.
absolutely no clue.
You just wanna
Babylon
work with
Part
her.
2.
A sister comedy would be very fun. But I don't know. I just watched her in Babylon, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to work with her, if I just want to watch her in awe.
And our next question for you. I think it was Wonderland in an interview that you did with them. You said you wanted to work with Olivia Wilde. What did you make of the whole Don't Worry Darling scandal and press tour?
Oh my God. I'm like, I must have said that before because I feel like just saying now is intense. But yeah, we did talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, we literally just talked about this. So funny.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, I have no idea because I feel like there's what you see on social media and there's what you see, like people thinking that Harry spit on that guy's lap and all of these things. And it's like, did that actually happen? Like, I'm just seeing this on social media. I'm a spectator. I have no clue.
Everything's blurred lines.
But
I pray for their healing.
I feel like I would still work with her. But I also...
she still proved she's a good director.
I was going to say, I want her to direct me. I'm here for that.
Yeah, don't we all?
Speaking of directors and shows and films and things, what are you watching right now? Like, there's so many things I'm currently binging, and it's keeping me from doing productive things. What are your shows? Any films you've been obsessed with?
Or stuff you love to hate watch, because that is like a big thing for us.
Ooh. I mean...
But anytime someone asks me a question, I always forget.
I've been on like a Lena Dunham kick. Like, I started at the
like
beginning of her
Again?
career. The movie that she did before she started Girls. I don't know if that was like her way of getting Girls off the ground.
Is that
and
Little
made.
Furniture?
Yeah.
Tiny
Furniture. Yeah. I loved it. And then I watched Sharpstick. And I really liked that. But yeah, I love Girls and I love all of those shows.
Girls is iconic.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh my gosh. I've seen a bunch of movies lately. Babylon, Puss in Boots, Last Wish, one of the best films of the year. You can't tell
That's
me
what
anything
everyone's
else.
saying. It's driving me insane.
Girl, you got to watch it. Not too long ago, The Menu.
Wait, did you say Puss in Boots is one of the best films of the year?
Yeah, and I stand by that.
I love that.
Thank you so much. Oh, I'm late. I'm so late.
And
but
did you just say everyone's saying that?
Yes, everybody named Mother.
Oh, wow. I'm really off the know.
Banshees. What do you
think of
Banshees of
Babylon?
Inisherin.
But yes, I just saw that. Whoa, sad as fuck, but great
really?
film. Yeah. What did I think of Babylon? I loved it. I think that I would have loved to see like the black character storyline a little bit more written and like thought out, because the moments that I did see, I loved. I just felt like just wasn't like holistic enough of like who he was. What else did I think? I thought all the performances were phenomenal. Diego Calva, the Latino lead. Wow. I think he's like the future.
I do too.
What did you think of Babylon? I have so many thoughts. I'm just trying not to spoil anything.
I had the exact same thought. But
Yeah.
I obviously wouldn't.
I think it's a
That
lot.
story,
in
I
one
said the same thing
movie.
to my friend. I was like, that storyline didn't feel like it was fully like it was so beautiful. Like when he was in the powder.
Yes, when he was in the blackface. Yeah, stunning shot.
That was like probably the most heartbreaking moment of the entire
Yeah,
movie. It looked fucking heartbreaking.
yeah. I was in chills, and I was just like, we really didn't get that many scenes. But I think cinematically, it's stunning. The performances are great. I just feel like there was so much being fit into one film. It couldn't do everyone justice. But Daniel, beautiful score, beautiful. Okay, if you could ban one thing in the country, what would it be? For me, it would be fans. And I know that sounds outrageous.
Fans,
but
you're sick.
Fans.
You're sick. You're a sick
She
girl.
loves to be warm. She loves to
You're
be
a
warm.
sick girl,
I
Alycia.
want every room to be 80 degrees. If you could ban one thing, what would it be?
Yasmine would be cilantro, right?
Oh, I genuinely, wholeheartedly believe that the world and the U.S. would be a better institution if cilantro was
It's because you have that
banned.
gene. Don't do that. Latinos
But
need cilantro.
that's like not it, because I'm saying it right now. It doesn't add stuff. It tastes like soap. It's horrific.
It'd be Matthew McConaughey and Amy Duncan for me.
No. Not people.
Green light. Why would you ban Matthew McConaughey?
Because he just gives me anxiety.
I enjoy him. I love a Matthew rom-com. But do you have one? What would you ban in the U.S. of A?
I would probably I wish we could all just convert to electric cars a little easier.
Tea.
Like you had a real answer.
It's giving
You
me
said fuck
fucking
oil.
anxiety. Yeah. That's a really lame answer.
Wait,
No,
do you have an
that's
electric
great.
car?
No.
Okay.
That's why I'm like, I've been in line to get one. I've been in line to get one.
What are you trying to get?
Sleazy?
Just like
Tesla.
She wants a Tesla.
No,
Sleazy.
not a Tesla because we don't
Oh.
support Elon. Just kidding.
Per.
I'm not speaking for you.
No comment. I'm like, I've just been waiting for like a
That's
little
a media train
BMW
kid.
electric.
That's a media train kid. I'm
I'm like,
Media BMW electric car? Is that what you're waiting for?
I love that.
Oh, those are
I don't know
so
cars. I'm like,
cute.
give me electric car.
Do you believe in online dating? And do you participate in it?
I don't really. I did for a bit, and then now I don't really. I mean, I know that a lot of people have met through it.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I met my. It's so very gay, but I met my girlfriend through Hinge
Wow.
in September, and it kind of just worked out.
But you're saying you don't believe in it? I think
For yourself.
different people, different folks,
Strokes.
different strokes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you have any mutuals in common?
Peyton, she was only in the US for 2 days, in LA for 2 days, doing something for marketing. I was in LA because I live there, and we matched randomly. I sent her a rose, and then when she was like, yeah, I actually live in Manchester, I threw my phone across the room, and I was like, fuck me. And here I am 5 months later in her home. I'm doing the podcast here, and it kind of just worked out perfectly. And I don't, and I am very much in love. I don't think it's for everyone, because like online dating is really hard, but I also feel like it depends on the person. And it's always interesting because I was like, if they say like by 23 you would have met the person you're going to marry. I'm like, fuck that. Absolutely fuck that. I would rather die than marry someone I've already met now, because everyone.
Who the hell said
Have you not heard that?
But thank God. I think everybody has different things that float their boat. You know, for me, it scares me. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, it does scare me a bit.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's just
Online dating.
Oh, yeah. No.
But I think it's
Yeah.
beautiful. Like, you met love, Yaz, and it's flourishing and thriving. And I know
I'm
so
so
many
glad.
relationships that are thriving because of
Same.
it.
I do too.
But for you, have you been
That's-
like, nah, because you're like, I don't know them, or what?
Yeah, I've just had a couple of experiences where I'm like, I just get red flags once I'm in person with them, and like they just haven't gone well. I mean, I had one that I thought the guy was like so genuine and sweet,
But boring.
but that was one.
You said, but you did try. At least you tried, girl.
I did
Period.
try, and then what I realized is I'm like, wow, I really need to know people for a long period of time, which is bad though.
That's
It's
good
not
that you know
bad.
that about yourself, though.
Like we need to have like
Because
a mutual. That's why I asked if you have
some
if
people-
you had a mutual.
some people don't do that. Yeah, I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of online dating. I'm afraid of actors.
I'm scared someone's gonna. I think I've just seen too many shows where it's like, my husband ended up being a serial killer, and I'm like,
saying.
Statistically, husbands literally are most likely to kill themselves. But
Terrifying.
it's interesting because I'm obsessed with catfish. So I'm like,
Stay gay.
when I would stay gay, when I was getting to the airport, I was like, this is either going to be the most like the girl I've been talking to FaceTiming for the last 5 months, or it's going to be an old man with a micro penis and a receding
Ay,
hairline.
Dios mío.
And then lo and behold, it wasn't.
Like, hey,
I love that.
sometimes you take the leap, or sometimes you're like me. I'm a vetter. I want to sit and watch who you are, like, for a few months. Like, I need a minute.
I want to sit
so I'm
and
not
watch.
alone on
Okay, that sounds awful. I'm not a criminal. Gracias and thank you. Pero
But you need to.
no, you're the
you know me.
interrogator.
I need my
She
time.
needs to marinate.
I needed to marinate. I need to see how you
I
act.
basically set her up with her current boyfriend.
She kind of did, and she manifested it for me. She was like,
I posted online saying that they were dating. When
I forgot
the
to do
second
that.
time we had hung out.
and my dad had called me and said, do you have a boyfriend? And I said, absolutely not. And then he was like, but Josie just said her brother-in-law in her story. And this is when I had told this man, I was like, I don't like you. Like, we are just friends. And he was my lovely friend. And look. So maybe in 2023,
Maybe, babe.
Josie's going to
That's
manifest someone
beautiful.
for you. Speaking of manifesting, what's your in and your outs for 2023?
Yeah.
Oh, T, that was good. We got it. That was
incredible.
That was amazing.
Oh God.
Next.
Okay, out is not fucking laughing at yourself. Like I have to laugh at myself. That's
So not laughing at yourself. So that's what's in.
So it's in.
It's
to laugh
in.
at yourself.
Laughing
yes.
at yourself.
in is laughing at yourself.
Her.
Out is taking yourself seriously.
Love that.
Do you have any?
Those are great. Ins for me, my literal love of my life, my little sister Val, she told me the other day, she was like, this is the year of being. And I was like, you're so right. Like, we should just be. Because I feel like we're so worried about everything that, like, what's in is just being. If I'm worried about something, bitch, I'm just going to be.
Yeah.
If I'm excited about something, okay, I'm just going to be.
No, I agree. Like in is rest. And
Out is self-doubt and insecurity and men in finance. And I love that.
And that, ladies.
And that is our episode.
I think
so true.
That's our in and outs of 2023 from Alycia Del Sol, Pascual-Peña, Josie Toda, Peyton List. and Yasmine Hamadi.
So thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
We love you dearly.
Yes.
Please come back.
This was so beautiful, truly. Thank you.
This was
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Thank you guys.
We're so grateful. Thank you so much for coming and joining. And also, you have a home at Dare We Say anytime.
And everyone watch
maybe I'll
out.
just come be a audience member sometime.
Oh my God, you're the live audience. You're like, eh.
Please imagine we do that.
You can watch the
You can be our
arguments
paid
firsthand.
laugher.
Yeah.
Perfect.
To laugh at all of our jokes.
Perfect.